Right, Mutant Nation, what is going on? IFBB Pro, two-time 212 Olympia Champion, and of course, Mutant Athlete, the Giant Killer, Shaun Clarida here, and welcome to the 2025 season. All right, guys, we are now literally just under 13 weeks out for the 2025 212 Olympia in Las Vegas once again. This will be my 11th consecutive Olympia, going for my third title, and wow, can't believe it's been 11 years on Olympia stage. But before we get to all that, let's backtrack for those who are new to myself, Mutant Nation, who don't really know the story or the journey that got me to where I'm at today. Let's take a time back in memory lane, and let's go back to where it all started. For me, this journey of bodybuilding began in 2004 on the Rider University campus. That's where I went to college. At the time, I was a D1 wrestler, and if you guys know, wrestlers were in the gym to train for power, strength, things like that. So of course, in the midst of training, met an old school bodybuilder in the gym who had walked by and seen me in a tank top and thought, I'd do good at a bodybuilding show. At that time, honestly, guys, I was absolutely clueless to what bodybuilding was. I couldn't tell you anything about bodybuilding. I couldn't tell you what Mr. Olympia was, who Mr. Olympia was, none of that, because I was not interested at the time. But because I'm always interested in challenging myself, seeing what I can and can't do, and after he showed me a bunch of his videos and showed me all his trophies and things like that, he persuaded me to do a show just to try it out and see what I thought. And he prepared me for 3 months. He put me on a diet, training program, helped me with posing. And 3 months later, I was a whopping 118 pounds, 23 years old, competing on my very first bodybuilding show, the 2005 NPC Mid-Atlantic. And it's funny because I actually still have that trophy right here. And it's probably one of my main trophies that I always go to look for motivation when I'm a little down, a little bit out, to know where I started to where I'm at today. And like I said, when I did that show, I was instantly bit by the bug. Went back to my college coach and said, hey, thank you for the opportunity. But I'm going to pursue this bodybuilding thing. Again, clueless to what this thing is where it's going to take me. I knew that the whole process of preparing for that one show in just those 3 short months was something that really intrigued me. The diet, the prep, the posing, and then obviously being at the show, being backstage with the other competitors, being on that stage was an absolute rush. And I loved every second of it, and I wanted to continue that. And I believe that same year, within a 4-month span, I ended up doing 6 shows. I just went online, looked at local bodybuilding shows, and I was there. So I believe the first year competing in 2005, I believe I did 6 shows in a matter of 3-4 months, just because I loved it. And obviously, as you grow more into the sport, learn more about the sport, you do more shows, and that's when I started learning more about bodybuilding, NPC, Mr. Olympia, proper training, proper nutrition, the whole 9 yards. And every year I did a couple of shows here and there, and eventually found myself in the NPC, battling for a pro card. First year in NPC, competitively, I was 2011. I did the NPC, actually did the NPC Mid-Atlantic once again. The very same show I competed the first time. I came back to it in 2011 and ended up winning the bantamweight class as well as the overall. I was the very first bantamweight in history, and I still believe I am today, to ever win the overall at that show. And that was just, wow, an amazing accomplishment. Back to when I did it in 2005, I placed 3rd out of 5 in the novice lightweight class. Fast forward a couple years later, here I am now, the open bantamweight champion and overall champion, and the very first bantamweight to ever do that. And then from that point on, I knew where I wanted to go. I knew that eventually a national qualifier was definitely in sights. Getting my pro card was definitely a goal, and eventually getting to that Olympia stage. Something that we all dreamed and hoped for, right? So 2012, a year later, I ended up winning my pro card at the NPC Nationals. Same thing, I won the bantamweight class and I won my pro card there. Fell short from the overall, but that's okay. I got that pro card, and then from there, I knew that the next step was the pro stage. But you gotta realize too, guys, when you win a national show, you're on top of the world. You're one of the best in the world as an amateur. But now that you're a pro, you're going right back to the bottom. And you're having to start the whole entire process over again. And I was okay with that. That's, again, what I enjoyed, that whole entire process. So I was willing to put in that work, willing to put in that time, that effort. And I didn't care how long it was going to take me. I knew that I was going to be a good pro. I knew that I was going to get to the Olympia stage. And truly, in my heart, I knew that one day I would be an Olympia champion. All right, some people call me crazy, delusional, don't know what I'm talking about. But again, these are the naysayers, the non-believers. I've had these same non-believers my whole entire career who have doubted me. And, for me, I just kept my mouth closed, did the work, showed up, showed out, and not just prove them wrong, but prove myself right. And that's what I've been doing pretty much my whole entire career. Made my pro debut at IFBB in 2014. Again, when you start from the bottom, work your way back up. I was in that last call out, pretty much battling for 13, 14 spot. But again, I had made it to the pro stage, something that many could never do in their entire life. Because you gotta realize, getting that pro card may or may not be easy, but to be on that pro stage is a whole nother animal. And I'm thankful for that. And then, just 1 year later, I found myself in Canada, Vancouver, where I was able to win the Vancouver 212 Pro, my very first pro win. And that right there is what qualified me for my very first Olympia. And I remember at the show, I cried backstage, and just because not only did I win my first show, but I knew that goal of getting to Olympia was now here. I was just a few short months from getting on that Olympia stage. And when I got to Las Vegas and I was able to stand and watch the stage being built for Olympia, I remember like yesterday, I cried. Because again, this is something that I know personally was a goal of mine. And the years I put in, the hard work I put in, the effort, the sacrifices, the naysayers, the non-believers, losing friends, family, the whole 9 yards, that moment was all worth it. Because once again, not many people can say they got their pro card. Not many can say they won a pro show. And even fewer can say they made it to the Olympia. And that very first Olympia, again, starting from the bottom, right? I would believe I was somewhere at 12th, 13th place. But again, I was okay with that because I knew I was at the Olympia. And Olympia is the elite of the elite, all right, guys? And obviously every year since that 2015 Olympia, I was able to qualify, whether that's win a show or qualify through points at the time. And then just 5 short years later, I'm the Olympia champ. It's unbelievable. Again, I remember when they called my name for first place at the Olympia in Orlando at the time, I cried. And I remember when I was holding my head on that ground, it was more of a sigh of relief. But once again, I thought back to all those days, those nights I was putting in and out of the gym, the diet, going to bed hungry, not wanting to train, losing friends, losing sleep, the whole 9 yards. But once again, all that was worth it because now here I am, a very small percentage, maybe 1% of the world can call themselves an Olympia champion. And here I am now, the Olympia champion. And that moment was just utterly sweet, so special. Having my family there, they're crying, I'm crying, we're celebrating together. And in that moment, pretty much ricocheted my career. From then on, I was traveling the world, going to guest appearances, expos, representing the IFBB, representing the 212 division as the Olympia champion. And went on to defend the title next year. Unfortunately, fell short to Open Mr. Olympia, we may know now as Derek Lunsford. And then we all know the history of Derek. He went on that next year to place second in the Open, and that left that Olympia 212 spot open. And here I am again, right back in that center spot, holding up that second 212 Olympia championship. So now here I am, a 2-time 212 Olympia champion. And it's been a fight, it's been a struggle. That was my last pro win in 2022. Every year you get, the crop gets bigger and better. And the one thing that does happen as you get older is things change. Preps are different, the body's not responding like it used to, recovery's a lot different. And you just pretty much fight age. Here I am now, knock on wood, still able to go at the age of 40, 40 plus. But again, I'm still hanging with the young boys. I remember back then, coming up, I was the young pup. Now I look at these guys, I'm the old dog. But I'm still hanging on, I'm still fighting strong, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. That's what it is. I think people want to know, after literally now, it's been 20 years I've been competing, I've done 59 shows, 7 IFBB Pro victories. People want to know, why and how are you still going? Simple, I love what I do. That passion, that fire, that love for bodybuilding is burning just as strong as it did when I first began bodybuilding. And it's still burning today. And that's the reason why I'm still able to go on and on and on, because I love what I do. And it's truly blessed me and my family to be able to make this a profession, be able to have amazing sponsors such as Mutant Nation, be able to travel the world to expos, meet and greets, have people, fans want to meet me, take a picture of me. Like, that's so surreal to me, and that's truly a blessing, guys. And now here we are now, getting ready for the 2025 season, where again, like I mentioned, I'm gonna fight to get that 3rd title. It's not gonna be easy. Like I said a little bit earlier, that crop gets better and better every single year, but here I am, the old dog, still hanging on. So what's different? What's different for this leadership prep that's gonna hopefully ricochet me into that, that title spot this year? A lot's changed. I moved my family from New Jersey to Texas. We had a baby girl in 2022, right after the Olympia 2023. And I just wanted something different for myself, something for my family. And we moved to Texas. We've got great weather, we've got great space. The only downfall, I would say, is we know no one here. All our friends and family are back in Jersey and other locations. So it's just us here, and that's okay. Because personally, for me, I'm a loner. And aside from that, you guys may already know, I built my own gym, private gym, 5,000 square foot, custom gym, got a full office and kitchen, bathroom, of course, a posing room, and a 5,000 open square feet facility with hand-picked equipment from all around the world. I'm an old school guy, man. I like my old school. I carry Cybex, Nautilus, and that is what my gym is filled with. Why a gym? Unfortunately, when I moved out here in Texas, 3 years ago, and I found myself not able to settle and call a gym a home. Back in Jersey, Signature Fitness was my home gym, and I trained there day in and day out, and that was my spot. That was where I had won 2 of my Olympia titles. Came out here to Texas, and I just didn't feel it. I didn't find anywhere that I was like, this is where I need to be. So I built that. So in essence, the GK Jungle Gym, which is my private gym, is my mini Signature Fitness. The only great thing about that, it is a private facility, is that I can go in there, play my music, have 0 distractions, and just focus. And for some people, they like going to a public gym where there's people around, talking to them, motivating them, encouraging them. Whereas for me personally, guys, I am such a loner. Like I said, I like to have my space. I like to have my time. I don't like to be distracted. So having my own gym has definitely been, I keep saying it, but it's a blessing. We invested in this, and I think it's definitely paying off. And, God willing, this year, having my family in place the way they need to be, the gym in place where it needs to be, having the right people around me, all right? That circle has gotten so much smaller over the years. It's funny, when you win a big show like the Olympia, everyone wants to, reach out and be your friend, as some of you may call it. And you live and learn, because you start to bring people in and you realize these people really aren't there for you. They're really not supporting you. The real ones are the ones that were with me when I was just a little 118-pound Shaun Clarida, the guy that wasn't even talked about, wasn't winning shows. But those are the same people that were there before are still with me today. And that is my small circle of people. And I've learned that, when you're on top, again, everyone wants to get a piece of you. But what matters are the people that are there when that fame goes away. And so again, because of that, I've kept my circle a lot smaller this time around. I focus simply on my family, my health, and just being able to focus and lock in for this 2025 Olympia. And I'm excited because, God willing, it's gonna be a longer season. You guys know I did the Olympia last year. After that, I did the Prague Pro. And then I got the invite to the 2024 Open Arnold Classic, being the very, I guess I was the only 212 competitor that was chosen to compete at the Open show, which is awesome. And this year, honestly, guys, I love to compete. I absolutely love to compete. I'm not gonna say, what other shows I plan to do, but I for sure have looked at the schedule. I know truly if I'm healthy and things feel great mentally and physically, aside from the Olympia, win, lose, draw, I want to do more shows. And if I'm unable to do that, I still want to travel. I still want to do the expos and meet and greets. And I'm truly thankful for MUTANT Nation for allowing me to do that. Allowing me to represent themselves, allowing them to represent myself, the GK brand, bringing me to all these expos, events around the world to meet you guys. Because I've always said this and I will always say this. Without you, the fans, there is no us. So truly, guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much. That is just a small recap of what's going on, where things have gone, and from then to now. And I'm excited to get on the Olympia stage in 13 weeks, and God willing, bring home that third title, bigger, better physique. Outside of that, I've got a new coach as well. I've got 2 new coaches, Stephen Kinsel and John Jewett, and again, they're very confident in the plan. I'm confident in them and the plan as well. And 13 weeks is gonna be here before we know it. We'll be in Vegas, ready to do battle. MUTANT Nation, thank you so much for all the love, support. Continue to follow along myself and the rest of MUTANT Nation who are preparing for this season. And we hope to make you guys all proud. MUTANT Nation, we'll see you soon.